So you think you know Europe? Think again. One continent.
Tons of music. Okay, ready?
This is the Eurotrip.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Eurotrip podcast, and this is the first episode of our final thoughts reviews on this year's songs, all 43, and we are starting with the automatic qualifiers this episode. Yep, the ones we're definitely going to be hearing in the grand final on May the 13th. I have two guests with me today, so it's like a little friends fest. First, we have John from ESCPulse.
Hello there, thanks for having me.
You are very welcome, and if you do listen to ESCPulse, you'll know that I was on there a few weeks ago, so I've cashed in that favour, basically.
Yes, that was a fun time.
It was, and she was recently at the London Eurovision party and has heard a few of these acts live. It's Elaine. We have Elaine as well. Hello.
Hey.
Have you recovered from Sunday night?
Pleasure to be here.
Great.
Oh my God, only just, yeah. I mean, I was right by the stage, and you can actually see me, like, so you can see why I'm so knackered.
No problem. Well, so, yeah, we're just going to quick start. Obviously, 6 songs have qualified directly to the final, which is the Big Five and the host country, Ukraine. In the interest of fairness, we're going to take this in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with France. They have picked Alma and the song Requiem.
Embrasse-moi, dis-moi que tu m'aimes. Fais-moi danser jusqu'à ce que le temps nous reprenne. Ce qu'il a donné. Will you take me to paradise? With you nothing ever dies. You take my smile and make it bright. Before the night erases the light. I won't go below silver skies. The only dark is in your eyes. On pleure mais on survit quand même. C'est la beauté du requiem.
It was initially in French, but they since revamped it for Eurovision, and I've put in an a half English, half French chorus, I should say. And John, what do you think of Alma and Requiem for you?
I don't really get why people are saying that the English bit has ruined it, because I think, of course, I prefer it in French, but I don't think it's spoilt the song. I think it's still really good. I think France are hopefully going to do really well again, and I like the sort of dramatic feel of the music, and I like the lyrics. I like the music. I like Alma, the singer. I like everything about it.
So Elaine, sorry, John was very positive there of obviously Alma and Requiem. Do you share that, or are you not as impressed?
Well, I will say about the switch to English, it was certainly jarring for those of us who were used to the French original, but Alma herself seems to love it. So confident. She just wowed everyone, because lots of people were quite worried, having seen some of her earlier performances. A little bit underwhelming, like French acts have been in the past, but no, she just blew us all out to pull off an upset.
Okay, perfect. As for me, I like it. I actually do like the song. Obviously, it got announced out of nowhere. We were getting ready for Germany's national selection, and France just went, yo, here's our song. And it's pretty good, actually. I think it's like one of my favourites France has sent in a long time. I think it has the potential to get them a top 10 again. Obviously, you know, their record in Eurovision in the last decade hasn't been great. Only 2 top 10s in there, which were obviously Patricia Cass and Mia. But the new head of delegation seems to really, you know, figured out Eurovision and what works for France in Eurovision with these 2 entries. And yeah, I really like it. I actually prefer the revamp. I think it works better with the English chorus and the more powerful drum beat and whatnot. So yeah, I really do enjoy Alma and Requiem. I think it's a great song. I hope she does perform it really well live, and I hope there is some good staging to go with it. I don't know how they're going to stage it, to be honest, and obviously she did perform in the Ukrainian national selection, but she was just stood there with a microphone, so it didn't really give anything away.
The French head of delegation has said that they're planning something never seen before at Eurovision, so fingers crossed for something spectacular.
That's exciting. I'm kind of wondering what they mean then, because we've kind of seen everything, so
Well, they had the music video has all those tango dances like on the side of French landmarks. And I'm wondering if it might have a similar theme, like I don't know, like dancing up a wall, maybe.
That'd be quite impressive. Defying
I
gravity.
don't know. Hopefully, it's going to be a nice surprise.
Yes.
No, that's Cyprus. That's Cyprus.
So, as a quick ending, how do we think France can do, or what are we hoping France will achieve in Kyiv? John, let's come to you first on that one.
Oh, a lower top 10, hopefully.
Okay. Elaine?
I completely agree. Lower top 10, I think, is probably the ceiling for them.
I have to agree. I think it's coming between something like 8th and 10th, which is,
I mentioned before, a lot of people really like Requiem, but it doesn't seem to be anyone's favourite. Maybe not an EMEA, but definitely not a Twin Twin.
Definitely not. I hope not, at least.
Yeah.
Let us forget that incident. Okay, moving swiftly on. We're going to go on to Germany now with Levina and Perfect Life.
I've been walking asleep, dreaming away, finding I'm fit, but I don't break. I'm almost a sinner, nearly a slave, fighting with every breath I take. I'm not afraid of making mistakes. Sometimes it's wrong before it's right, and that's what you call perfect.
She obviously won the marathon selection. That was Intersong 2017. 3 hours for a 5-singer, 2-song competition. I still don't get how Germany dragged that one out. And they've promised us a revamp in about the next week or so. And I really hope the revamp is good, because at the state, I tune out to this song. I mean, Levina's a great singer, and the song isn't bad, but it's just very one note, and you expect the chorus to sort of like really go up and like perk you up like the lyrics should do, and it just leaves me a bit flat and cold, and I am worried Germany are looking at a third straight last place, which has never been done in Eurovision, but this could be the song to do it.
Uh-oh.
Yes, uh-oh indeed. John, what are you thinking of Perfect Life?
Not a lot. I mean, I like Levina. I really like her. I think she's a brilliant, charismatic singer. She was the best choice from the 5 singers in the national final. I'm just surprised that the song isn't competitive, really, in any way. I mean, it's nice, it's pleasant, but I think it's not going to be remembered at all, really.
Yeah, I have the same fear, to be honest. I feel like it's going to go in the middle of the running order and just kind of get swept over. But Elaine, what do you think of Perfect Life and Levina? Hopefully you can save this for us.
It certainly does have the risk of an Anne Sophie part 2, doesn't it? I mean, there's nothing bad about Perfect Titanium. It's an absolutely fun song and everything. It's just not one that really lingers in your head. But I will say Levina really sells it. Like, she is a much better performer than the song is, and the simple fact that she was still giving her best at the end of that mammoth, completely ludicrous German national final really shows just what a voice she's got on her. And I'm really hoping that this rumored revamp that they're dragging out lifts the song and gives it that punch it desperately needs, because there was that remix floating around like a month ago for Perfect Life that sounded a lot better, but they're not using that one. That's on the album, but they're using a different one. So it might not be much of a revamp. It might be a wonderful revamp. I'm certainly hoping for something good, because I am half German, and this is beginning to get embarrassing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I just feel like this kind of like encapsulates Germany and Eurovision at the minute. You know, they're trying. It all sounds good to start with, and then it just falls a bit flat. Like Jamie Lee, I thought was great. Had her in my top 5. I still upset she came last. And Sophie, I liked Black Smoke, and that just fell apart live. And you know, they thought they're on paper their national selection sound like a good idea, but it just got dragged out so much. And the 2 songs, neither sounded different in either in any versions. It all just seemed so meh. So it just felt like this is the song, this is the tempo we're going for, and you've got to like change your way of singing to match it, sort of thing. It's just like, no, that's not how it works, Germany. Oh,
they can do so much better.
Yeah, and they've proven it. I mean, Roman Lob, Lena, both times. Even 2009, their entry was fabulous and brilliant. Weird, but brilliant. Because you know who.
Well, the thing is, the German national finals have almost always been the most heartbreaking for me because they've always had such really, really good songs. Like some songs which are fantastic, and then some concepts that are fantastic. 2015, for example, Leng was there with their exercise bikes and their light show, and every year there are German songs that I absolutely fall in love with in the national finals, and then something utterly mediocre beats them. And I'm sorry, I am including Jamie Lee's song in that. Jamie Lee won because she was popular in Germany based on the TV show The Voice or The X Factor, whichever one it was.
Yes, The Voice. It's about
and that didn't translate outside of Germany, and that was a trap they fell into. But they seem to have got the wrong message entirely for this year's national final, and thought that they'd come up with an entire national final full of mediocrities. You know, we can't pass over a good song if they're all mediocre.
Seems to be the way. So, last prediction of Germany in the final. I'm going to kickstart this. It's looking like another bottom 5. Probably last, but I don't want it to be last, but I don't see it higher than 21st.
Bottom 3.
Oh.
I'm kind of been withholding my judgment based on this revamp, which could lift it. I think it won't lift it that far. It might lift it to mid-table, but at the moment, if they don't change it, it is in risk of being last. Not because it's bad, but because it will get forgotten.
Mm.
That said, that depends if songs like the Czech Republic get through, because I think they're more likely to be forgotten than Levina, because at least Levina has the German diaspora.
Very, very true. So we're now going to move on from a song that's doing quite poorly with people in Eurovision to one that's very, very popular. It's actually the bookies' favourite at the minute, still, about 8 weeks after it was selected. It's Italy, Francesco Gabbani, and Occidentalis Alma.
C'è butta in fila indiana per tutti un'ora d'aria di gloria. La folla grida un mantra, l'evoluzione inciampa, la scimmia nuda balla, Occidentalis karma, Occidentalis karma, la scimmia nuda balla, Occidentalis karma.
Indeed. Elaine, do you want to start this off? You saw it live. I've seen some footage from London Eurovision Party where it seemed to go absolutely mad, but you were there. What do you think of this song, and did he deliver it live as well as people hoped?
They absolutely set up Occidentalis Karma and Francesco Gabbani to be the highlight of the night, the winner of the night. They even had like exploding confetti at the big bridge moment in the song, and it didn't feel unearned in the slightest. There was an excitement for Francesco that was matched by almost no other artist, 2017 artist, and he has the charisma to pull it off. Some of us who have been thinking all along that this is a deserved favourite, not necessarily the runaway Alexander Rybak kind of favourite that the bookies would have to believe. But he is just so charming. He just charmed absolutely everyone, outside the venue, inside the venue. Everyone he met just swept off their feet. And there was no letdown. Like, people went there expecting the whole party, waving their hands in the air, and that's exactly what they got. It just feels like there's little stopping the Italian train right now.
Amazing. I'm going to jump in. It feels very much like 2015, like this is the song that's going to win the televote. Obviously, you know, I've never, since Italy have come back, I've only liked one of their entries, which was Nina Zilli in 2012. I don't know why, just me and Italy just don't seem to get on in Eurovision. I enjoy this, I really do like it. I think Francesco is an amazing ambassador, and from people I spoke to who went to London Eurovision Party, he was apparently outside for like half an hour, just making sure everyone got seen, had photos of everyone who wanted one. I think that in itself is absolutely amazing. It shows what the contest means to people, and he understands that, which I think is amazing. The song is great. It's clever. It's witty. It's also got its little not gimmick, but like point of the dancing gorilla as well, which I think is just you know a standout thing. And we'll have to see how it does on the night. I really do like the song. Is it my favourite? No, and I'm a bit worried to say that publicly, but it's not my favourite. The tune is great and everything, but I think it's something about his singing voice that just puts me off a little bit. I don't know what it is, but that's like what I've got it like 8th or 9th, I think, for me. But I still really enjoy it, and it's probably going to be like top 5 in the televote if they get the staging right, I feel, because it's got the power of the Eurovision fandom. And obviously we saw last year Sergei Lazarev was a big fandom favourite, and so is Ilvolo. They both won the televote, so I'm expecting that to follow suit. My only issue with the song is, will the juries see this as maybe as a bit of a joke and a bit too immature for Eurovision? Like, to win, I feel. I don't know why, I just had that feeling that they might, just grab the wrong end of the stick of it and just think it's a bit stupid. I hope not, and yeah. I think it's a good song. It's not my favourite, but I can totally see why people are absolutely loving it and shouting Namaste Ale everywhere you go when you talk about this song. John, how do you feel?
Unfortunately, I wasn't there in London, but I am going to see him in Amsterdam next week, which I'm really looking forward to. Yay! Yeah, he's obviously a big character, and you were talking about his voice. It's that typical Italian raspy male singer voice that you seem to hear all the time. I think it's a definite top 5. My issue is that people are talking about this song as if he's already won, and something's just telling me, I don't know what it is, but something's just telling me that he's going to get picked at the post. I don't know who by, but I just think that could happen.
Yeah, it feels very much like Amir last year. Everyone was like talking like he already won it, and then out of nowhere, all these songs brought that A game to Stockholm. I mean, he finished 6th in the end, and that's what I felt like when I said earlier. I think that's going to happen to Francesco. He's got all this momentum going into it, but someone is just going to out of nowhere steal it from him. I don't know who. It could be anyone.
I think if that happens, we're not looking at a Amir last year. We're looking at a Sergei Lazarev last year. I still think Francesco is on course for a podium finish, but not necessarily the prime one.
Okay.
Time will tell.
Yeah. It seemed like when they had to do the Eurovision version, it wasn't a revamp, so they took out the second verse and it just looped straight back into the chorus. It was a little jarring, but the majority of people won't have known the original version, so that may hurt it, or it may just help it. I don't know.
I don't.
They cut the version out.
Mm.
It's very much a cut. You can hear it. No, I disagree. I think it's the opposite. I think actually we're kind to the song because we know what's been cut. The people hearing it for the first time won't hear that. They'll just hear it go from the chorus back into the pre-chorus. And a friend I played this to, admittedly just over the radio, so she didn't get to see Francesco, but said that it made it immediately sound like one of the songs that ran out of ideas and just looped the chorus.
Oh dear.
Damn that 3-minute rule.
But like you said, time will tell for Francesco Gabbani. But what are our predictions of Italy? I'm gonna say this is gonna end up between 6th and 10th. I just don't know why. I just can't see it in the top 5 for some reason. I just don't know.
I still think it's a top 5.
Putting my neck on the line, I'm going to say 2nd.
Oh, very specific. Well, we're going to sweep on to song 4 now of this little section, this episode, sorry, I should say, and it is Spain, Manel Narvarro with Do It For Your Lover.
Do it for your lover, do it for your lover, baby. Clap your hands and do it for your lover, do it for your lover, do it for your lover, baby. Clap your hands and do it for your lover, do it for your lover, do it for your lover. Do it for those who ever care and
love. All the Eurodrummer seems to have calmed down about this winning, for the most part, after, you know, Objectivo Eurovision Gate or whatever they were calling it. But for those who didn't know, he won. He wasn't the popular choice. People got very upset, and that went on for about a month. And going on to the song itself now, I don't like it. I'm not happy this one. I find it's really boring and dull and just him trying to act like something that he's not. And I just find it really repetitive and dull, and just, to be blunt, it's my 43rd favourite song this year. It's bottom of the pile for me.
Wow.
Just because there's just nothing that makes me remember this song. It's just like, yeah, okay, it's in Spanish, cool. Oh, English chorus, do it for your lover. And, okay, you're saying the same 4 words again and again and again. Oh, and yeah, song's over. That's all I get from it. And he just doesn't have like any sort of stage presence either. I just feel like he's just kind of there, just plodding along with his guitar, and you know, it's not good for me. Sadly, it's not good. Sorry, Spain, but it's not good. John, please say you're going to be more positive than I am.
A little bit.
Yay!
I mean, I don't think you could get more repetitive than this song. And like you, I was not happy when this won the final. But the thing is, listening to it in the last couple of days, it's weirdly, it's kind of growing on me. And I think it's going to do better than people think. Not much better, but a little bit higher. I don't think it's a last placer.
Okay.
And I remember when Manel went to the Ukrainian national finals, and the audience seemed to really like him. Okay. So I would not be surprised if he gets kind of a mid-table finish.
Okay. Elaine, is Manel doing it for you with Do It For Your Lover?
I'm afraid not. I mean, I actually felt sorry for him at London Eurovision Party, because he was just wandering around trying to get attention and pretty much doing everything he could to promote his song, and it just wasn't sinking in. I mean, people have warmed to him a little bit more since the drama, but his song is background noise. It really is background noise. And I don't know. I have trouble seeing who would vote for this. Even the Spanish fans, and Spanish fans are very passionate about their own entries. Even the Spanish fans aren't that hyped on Manel this year, and I'm not sure who will be.
Yeah, it's not really looking positive for Spain, is it? And, they haven't done well in the last few years. Obviously, Beret falling flat, and not just in her performance, in the actual scoreboards as well. 2015, it did okay. It wasn't great, but again, that was tipped to win, and it completely bombed. I was quite happy about that because I didn't like Hermancer, but everyone else seemed to love it. Ruth Lorenzo did well, and Pasta Soler, but apart from that, Spain have been kind of meh, and this is going to be another meh result, I think. I'm going to kick this off. This is fighting with Germany for last place, I think. I think this is coming dead last.
Wow, wow. Well, I don't think it'll be last, but I think it'll be somewhere between 20th to 24th.
Okay. And Elaine?
Somewhere in the bottom four.
Okay, so yeah,
Sorry.
Oh no, trust me, I'm much harsher than that. So we're not feeling it. Sorry, Spain. And we're going to move off from sunny Spain off to the host country, Ukraine. And they have not gone for a female singer this year. They have gone with rock band O.Torvald with the song Time.
Time to look, time to see, time to fight. Time to look into your eyes, time to fight through, time against the lies. Time will give us a sign, can't make a promise, it's our time to shine.
They had a very controversial stage show in the semi-final, where on the sort of down part where it all went a bit quiet, there was gunfire and the lead singer seemed to get shot. They ditched that for the actual final, where there was mounds of stuff. And yeah, they are the host nation's act. John, let's come to you first. What do you think of Time?
I'm glad that they toned it down in the final, and I'm interested to see what they'll come up with at the actual Eurovision. I don't really like it. I just think it's noise, to be honest. It's nothing to do with rock music as a whole. I'm not against it. I do actually really like it, but for some reason this song just doesn't do it for me at all. And I think it's when I last did my ranking, it was my number 43.
Ouch. Elaine, are you feeling a bit more positive about the host nation's chances?
Well, I don't know about their chances. I personally feel a bit more positive about the song. It is a proper rock song. O.Torvald are a proper rock band. But let's be honest, it's an album track. This is not a song that they should release as a single. And the only reason it has any momentum whatsoever is because of the stage show. Whatever they decide to do. I mean, O.Torvald are competent on stage. They're a proper rock band, so they're used to doing gigs and holding attention, and they managed to do that. They managed to do that adequately at London Eurovision, where rock bands can struggle a bit. But there's not really much of a punch to the actual song itself, and I think this is to some extent Ukraine taking the daring choice, if just because they don't want to win next year, so it doesn't matter if they do badly.
I must admit, this song's probably grown on me the most since it was selected. At first, I just glossed over it. I quite like it now, and I like the instrumentation. Like I said, it's a proper rock song. It has that bit where it just drops and then goes into a proper instrumental rock bit, which is really quite cool and powerful. My main gripe...
That's the best bit.
It is the best bit, yeah, because my main gripe with the song is the lead singer's vocals, especially on the hook and refrain when he says time. Time to Look Into Your Eyes, time, and whatever that is. I can't remember the exact lyrics off the top of my head, but his voice either sounds strained or just too weak to carry that bit off. It sounds a bit fragile, which is not the right thing for a rock song. Like it's lacking that punch and that fight for me. Like this sounds like a very passionate and personal song as well, but it's just lacking that in his voice to really drive it home for me. And I think that's where my gripe lies with this song. It's not a bad song. I just don't think the right singer is singing it, if that makes sense. It's lacking
Still
something.
An album track for me. Still an album track for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of them before, but I don't imagine this is their best work.
It's not. It really isn't.
There we go.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling also that they didn't really know what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, because someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe I read somewhere that they're already getting a bit fed up being asked the same sort of questions from fan sites and media outlets and things about Eurovision. And that's not...
Just wait till they get to Kyiv.
That's not something I would publicly announce within 3 weeks of being selected when you're the host nation. It's a bit do you not understand what Eurovision is? Have you not done any prior research before entering a Eurovision selection?
That was certainly the attitude to begin with when they won, and they kept being annoyed that people were just asking them about Eurovision and not about their back catalogue, because they do see themselves as a proper serious rock band. But they didn't seem to have that attitude in London, so maybe they've come to terms with it a bit. Definite shades of the first Czech entry though, last decade, where that rock band went and performed and just had no idea what Eurovision was and did really badly because they were just like a fish out of water.
I loved that.
I mean, I loved it. I loved it too, but it did badly. It came last in the semi.
True. Well, let's
Melodrama? Yeah. Melodrama by Gabbani.
Well, let's hope they figure out Eurovision. I mean, they already have their spot in the final. They're going 22nd because it was done at the head of the delegation meeting, as always, for fairness. It's not a bad slot for a host nation to go in 22nd, quite late on, so it might do okay. But to kick off our predictions, I am giving this a bottom 10 finish. I think it's going to be about 15th or lower. I just don't see that many people getting really behind it, but it still will do okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to get a similar position that they did when they last hosted Eurovision, which I think was about 19th, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay.
Well, they drew 22nd in the running order, and I think that's roughly where they're going to be in the final table as well. They will benefit from people like the rock fans who watch Eurovision and really will only vote for rock because there's nothing else really there. Norway could have had ammunition but didn't, and so O.Torvald are pretty much the only ones carrying the rock banner this year. So that will work in their favour.
Yes, it will, but we shall have to see for O.Torvald and time. And from there, we're going to go into our last country now, which is our country, the United Kingdom. And we have selected Lucie Jones and Never Give Up on You.
Now you can see how far you've walked, the mountains climbed, the oceans crossed. I don't care what I've got to lose. Just give me your hand and hold on. Together we'll dance through this storm. I will never give up on you. You're the one that I'm running to.
Obviously, she won You Decide back in January. They then revamped the song, which was announced an hour before national final season really kicked off on the 11th of March. An hour before Melody Festival and Melody Grand Prix, which made me very nervous. And I'm actually going to start this off. This is my runner-up for the year. I absolutely adore this song.
Ooh.
When it got selected, I was a bit disappointed at the time, and I can't remember if I said that to you guys or not at the after party, or else too busy dancing and singing along to Amir and Lydia Isaac and all that. I can't remember. It was just a fun night. Sandia, Sergei Nazareth. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought she's a great singer, but the song's a bit meh. And so it wasn't my favourite. And I said that publicly in our first reviews of it. I was disappointed Emily DeForest has submitted this and blah, 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 blah. But the revamp has given it a much stronger identity and personality, especially when she does that big note when it says the mountains climbed and the mountains crossed or something like that, and she holds it, and there's that big drum beat explosion, which is where it really needs to come to life. And I just love that revamp now. I think it's absolutely phenomenal, and the only way the UK can get this wrong now is with the staging, which makes me extremely nervous because the BBC have got staging horrifically wrong in the past, i.e. 2014, and I'm terrified they're going to do it again. But going on the song, Lucie is fantastic. She's an amazing singer. She's worked in the West End, so she has that experience. She knows what Eurovision is about. She knows what live singing is about with the X Factor as well. She's done it once before, and her live vocals are amazing. And I'm confident she can do it again. And I just hope Europe get behind the song. Please. Please. Right, I'm going to stop gushing now and someone else take over.
Okay. Yeah. I think it is actually a pretty good entry from the UK for a change. And whilst it sounds good, perfectly pleasant in the studio version, live she just sells it so well. I mean, this is really her West End roots coming out, but she is just such a natural on stage, and she makes it look easy singing a song that takes a lot of work. It's a difficult song to sing. I will say, however, it's not necessarily the most gripping song to sing, and as a result, I don't see this troubling for the top places. That said, I don't think it's going to be a bottom table disaster by any means, and I think she'll do us proud in Kyiv. Fingers crossed, depending on the staging.
Okay. John, what do you think of Never Give Up on You?
Well, I was thrilled when she won national final, and I'm really going to get behind her as well. As far as the revamp goes, I agree with you about the big crescendo at the end, but on the whole, when I first heard the revamp, I was actually quite unhappy with it. Over time, I've come to terms with it, and I think, as Elaine says, when Lucie sings it live, it will really come to life. Yeah, I'm really hopeful that maybe a miracle will happen and we'll do reasonably well this year. I really hope so, and Lucie definitely deserves it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this is our best entry in absolutely years. I mean, Molly was great, but I think this is probably our best entry since 2009. And when we sent Jade, she got 5th. So that gives me some hope. But I don't know. My only issue is if people see the songwriters when it comes up and they see Emily DeForest and they go, oh, this might be something like Only Teardrops or Drunk Tonight or Hopscotch or Rainmaker, and it's nothing like that. So I'm worried they're going to expect one thing and then be let down because it's something else. But that aside, I think the juries are absolutely going to love this, because if they gave Sound of Silence a 109-point lead last year, I don't see why Lucie can't be at least top 10 with the juries, because this is 1,000 times better than Sound of Silence to me. But that's just me.
I don't disagree.
Any final points on the UK?
Sound of Silence. Sound of Silence had really, really amazing staging, though. It's hard to conceive that the BBC will have something of that caliber. And likewise, also the EBU were really pushing for Australia last year. I'm not sure the BBC will get quite the same reception. I think this is probably on course to end up roughly mid-table, a bit like Hovey Star did last year. A really good song, but I have difficulty seeing it make top 10 unless the staging really is mind-blowing. And that's not so much a comment on Lucie as on the overall package, I think.
Yeah, saying that, I do feel like it could have the effect of Hovey Star, doing amazing with the jury and then falling, completely flat with the televote, which would be a big shame. But I think a mid-table result for the UK would be very good and distill some confidence back in the United Kingdom, and it would probably keep You Decide around for a lot longer. And just a quick side note, I think You Decide this year was very well done, a massive improvement on last year, and it kind of shows the BBC are heading in the right direction with it all. If they can improve the national final in such a short space like they did, I feel that could
definitely the right direction. We need to keep in it, though.
Yes, completely.
Absolutely. Getting a lot better, but can always improve.
Yes, but obviously if we look at You Decide 2016 to You Decide 2017, just everything was better, I feel. The venue, the quality of songs, just everything just seems to be a bit better, which gives me hope.
Yeah.
So what are our final predictions on United Kingdom? I'm going to start this. I would love it to be top 10, but I'm going to have to concede it's going to probably end up between 11th and 18th.
Gosh, this is really tricky. An optimistic prediction of left-hand side of the scoreboard.
I would love that.
I know, that's all I ask for.
It's all we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Elaine?
This very much mid-table. As for whether it's bottom left or top right, hard to say. Hovey got 14th, which I think just makes the left-hand side, so I'll say somewhere around there.
Okay, well, they are our thoughts on Lucie Jones, and that's our thoughts on the automatic qualifiers for this year. Like I said, we will definitely be seeing them on the 13th of May in Kyiv. A big thank you to John and Elaine for being a part of this. And make sure you listen to John at ESCPulse, where they have been doing their reviews of all the songs this year. There are currently 2 episodes up, and I do believe they go up every Tuesday. Is that correct, John?
That's right, yes, and thank you very much for the plug.
You are very welcome. And in the next episode, we'll be starting on the semi-finals, and we'll be talking about the first 6 songs in semi-final 1, which is Sweden, Georgia, Australia, Albania, Belgium and Montenegro, because we actually have a running order now, so I can actually plan these better.
Yay!
That's what we think on the automatic qualifiers. If you agree or disagree with us, make sure you let us know. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and make sure you follow Eurotrip.com as well. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, John. Make sure you enjoy Kyiv as well if you are both going. Are you guys going?
Yep, I am.
Awesome. And John?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I will not be there, so make sure you have a fabulous time. And to anyone who's listening that is going, have a good time and enjoy the music. And thank you for listening. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is the Eurotrip.